It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon's Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege and honor to interview the Paralympian snowboarder, Mike Miners. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start your career in snowboarding?
Yeah, actually, I started skiing at the age of 2, and it was in the early 90s before snowboarding was really even a big thing on the mountains, and very few people were doing it. And I seen somebody snowboarding when I was about 7, and I told my dad that was something I was interested in and wanted to get into. And he kind of was like, "You're kind of crazy. I don't know." And the guy was pushing with 1 foot across some flats, and after some lessons and sticking with it for a few years, I moved out west after graduating high school and kind of found my whole career with snowboarding. So
What was it like getting started at such a young age of 7?
it was tough, but not, I wouldn't say too tough because I was into a ton of sports. So I started skateboarding at 5. And like I said, I started skiing at 2. So I was doing a bunch of different board type activities. So it was pretty easy to translate into snowboarding.
Of course, before you got into snowboarding, what was it like getting started in snowboarding cross?
Well, I wasn't actually involved in the snowboard cross until I moved out west and started my career with snowboarding. I didn't really even know snowboard cross was a thing my whole life growing up. I was just a terrain park rider and did like the rails and jumps and whatnot. After moving out west and eating adaptive action sports and kind of finding out about the Paralympics, I found out what snowboarding cross was and was like, hey, I'm definitely kind of interested in this and I can kind of think I could do this.
Of course, for my listeners that don't know, what is snowboarding cross?
So snowboard cross, like the name describes it, if you're familiar with, is pretty similar to motocross. It's the same concept, just minus the circular track. It's a snowboard course from top to bottom on a different course on the mountain. It's got jumps, turns, different types of freestyle type features that will challenge the rider to not only be the fastest over varying terrain.
In 2015, what was it like making your first international appearance?
That was pretty awesome because I never really traveled outside of the country my whole childhood. I think I went to the Dominican Republic when I was 14 or something, family vacation for like 1 week. So it was really cool. That kind of kicked everything off. And like I was telling you prior to this call, I'm now moving to Finland and I've met my wife. She lives over there, and it's just really brought a whole world of everything: competition, traveling. Being present at school. I got to go to the Netherlands first time, and it's really experiencing everything was cool. We snowboarded indoors as well, so that was interesting.
Of course, what is that like getting to snowboard indoors versus obviously snowboarding outside with regular snow?
That's actually a really good question. So the snow is kept inside like 1 to 2 years and they'll split. So it's a lot dirtier than the actual snow that you see in the wintertime on the mountains. So it does vary, and it doesn't change. The temperatures don't change in there. The weather doesn't change. It doesn't rain. There's no moisture. So the snow never changes. It's almost like sugar. If you were to pour sugar all over the ground and imagine just sliding through it, that's kind of the best description I could give.
What was it like getting to go to the World Paralympics?
The Paralympics, that was great. So I've actually been to 2 Paralympic games now. One was in 2018 in South Korea in Pyeongchang, where I won a bronze for snowboard cross and gold for bank slalom. And the last Paralympic games that I went to was this year in China, in Beijing, and that was really awesome. I didn't win medals, but super cool to see another country. The Great Wall of China was right outside of my bedroom window, so that was really awesome.
How is it like getting to compete in the World Pan?
We have not competed in the World Pan Games. Snowboarding is not a part of that. So the most that I have done is the Paralympic Games and World Championships as far as snowboarding goes.
What was that like getting to go to Canada in the World Championship?
Awesome. I had a really great year that year, actually. I went almost undefeated. I lost my bank slalom, I wouldn't say lost. I took silver at my bank slalom race at World Championships, and it was the only race that I didn't win gold in that year. And it was cool. World Champs in Canada was great. And I think we just most recently did World Champion Norway. I unfortunately caught COVID while we were there, so I missed some of my company.
Of course, how was it like getting to compete in the triple globe?
Let me rephrase that for you. To become a triple globe champion. So the triple globe is just the amount of globes that we're given. The crystal globe is an award you're given for being the best overall out of your competitive class for the year. And we get three, one for snowboard cross, one for bank slalom, and then obviously a third for overall. To become triple crystal globe champion in a season is really awesome. I honestly think that's a really huge achievement. It's right next to becoming a Paralympic medalist because it says you were the best of the whole year. So if you're able to win all three, it really says that, you cleaned house for the entire year, and it really shows that you were overall the best athlete.
How was that like, obviously, as you said, winning the triple globe and getting to go to the Paralympic Games and getting to compete in that same year?
Honestly, small town that I came from, it's all been really a dream come true. When it all started, everyone just told me I was crazy to even kind of start this journey, and I've made it all kind of come to what it is now, and to have all these awards and to see all these places and to travel the globe and meet all these people, it's in itself is a bless. It's been amazing.
What was that feeling like when you made that national team for the first time and you got to be on the Paralympic team in 2018?
Those feelings were awesome as well. I mean, that was when I was young in the sport, so it's like you're filled with all this hope and ambition and dreams of what could be. So those feelings are almost as great as winning your first medals at the games, because it's so brand new. Everything you're just like, you've got such wide eyes to everything. So yeah, that was great. It was a beautiful experience.
What was that feeling like, obviously getting to win gold in that 2018 Paralympic Games and putting that around your neck?
That was awesome. Considering the circumstance, it was actually like, in my mind, like a really top moment from those games. I was down by I can't even remember right now off the top of my head. I think it was 2.5 seconds, which in racing is really a lot. And it was unlikely that I was going to be able to take all that time off. And it really just seemed not like it was going to happen. I made a couple mistakes during my run and felt like it wasn't enough. And when I came across the finish line, I looked up and saw my name at the top of the scoreboard, and it was just, I couldn't even stay on my feet. I think I started crying. The emotions were pretty intense in that moment. So getting to see that gold medal was just, real satisfaction, showing that all those years of hard work were kind of coming full circle.
Of course, in 2018, what was that feeling like, receiving your uniform for the first time and having the Paralympic symbol on the uniform?
That was cool in itself. Going out into the opening ceremonies was a moment in itself, but really getting all those uniforms and the clothing was cool. We arrived into Korea and we stayed at this hotel before we went to the Olympic Village, and Nike and Ralph Lauren had set up these booths where we basically went in and just got outfitted with all these awesome clothes and got tailored and fitted. And it was really an experience, and they, took pictures, and it was just a good time. Did it with my teammates, and it was quite an experience, really.
Coming off of the 2018 Paralympic Games, what was the preparation like, preparing for your next run in 2022?
That actually it's interesting you asked that. There wasn't as much prepare that went into these last games, unfortunately, as the games prior. Life kind of threw a bunch at me, and that's kind of what I was telling you, is kind of brought along this move, and I've just been waiting a lot. So I didn't spend as much time on my snowboard as I would have liked to headed into these last games. Kind of showed as I didn't walk away with any medals.
Of course, in this last games, what was it like getting to obviously go to it and compete?
It was great. I mean, 1 games is awesome. Winning medals is all representing your country at 2 games. It's amazing. At that point, it's one of those situations where you've made the medals and obviously you want to win more medals. Nobody goes there and doesn't want to win medals, but just to be there in itself was really awesome. The first games for me was awesome because I won my medals, but it was a lot of hectic, chaotic, just a lot, and I couldn't take it in. This one I really soaked it in, so I have a lot of memories to take with me from China.
How is it like, obviously, going to Beijing, knowing that, obviously, as you said, you previously won medals, so now it's just about having fun at Beijing?
That was actually, I think, the main reason why I was able to take a lot of those memories away is because I kind of took the pressure off myself. Like I told you, I said to myself, you really aren't where you were on a snowboard 4 years ago. So you can't sit here and be hard on yourself about wanting to be at the top and needing to be the best. And I really just kind of nailed that into my brain the whole time I was there. And it really allowed me to just enjoy everything. And I really enjoyed my time in China. I had a good time despite all the COVID restrictions we were under. And
What does a typical competition day look like for the Paralympics?
long. Yeah, it starts early, man. We're up 5, depending on the athlete, you can be up anywhere between 4 to 5:36. You got to have some breakfast, and then usually buses are out by 8, depending on the Paralympic venue and how long the rides are. And then you have to get boards from the wax techs and then take the lift up, do a couple warm up, drop your bags. We usually will have practice. If it's a competition day, we'll have some practice before the contest start. Depending on the type of contest, snowboardcross, we'll do our time trials the day before. So we'll actually set our times that will determine what heats we race, and we'll do that the day before, and then we'll race the next day because it makes it less tiresome on the athletes. But thanks, we only get 2 time runs, so we'll do that all in one day, and we'll just kind of hammer that all out. So
What was that feeling like, getting to go down the slopes for the first time in both Paralympic Games?
really cool. In South Korea, it was just totally, the scenery was really cool, and just the experience. It was the first, so that was intense in itself, and that was probably the most memories I have from the whole games, was being at the slope and being like the slope itself and just thinking about it. It was great, and this time around it was fun. It was actually really cool. We were in the same spot as the slope style and the half pipe venues, so we got to see all that stuff. And like I told you, I'm a huge park fan. I snaked a run in the half pipe and got to ride an Olympic half pipe, so that was really cool too. And yeah, it's been a dream, getting to meet all the volunteers and see a country that I probably would have never gone to in my lifetime.
How does that feel to have, obviously, not just the Team USA on your chest, but also the Paralympic symbol on your chest?
It feels great, but it also comes with not a high price, but a weight that carries with it. You're an athlete, you're representing your country, you're representing a large organization. So it's like something that I always try to keep in the back of my mind, that I try to put the best foot forward and set the best example that I can for other athletes.
How does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name and also have Paralympian medalists behind your last name?
Paralympian behind my name is really an honor in itself, but to add the medalist to it is really just makes it that much sweeter. I've got a ring that says the same thing, so I look at it, it just reminds me, like that's something I did.
What was that feeling like the first time you became a Paralympian and you wrote your signature with PLY?
Oh man, yeah, it was great. It's like I said before, it's an honor just to be that athlete. To you look up to all these people when you're a kid. Imagine, I could be one of those people, and it's somebody being an astronaut, or I'm going to be a brain surgeon, or I'm going to be a famous athlete. It's like one of those things where it doesn't end up happening for a lot of people. So to have it kind of come to fruition, it's a special feeling, really.
What was that feeling like, getting to receive your Paralympic ring and the medal in the mail and getting to put it on for the first time?
So we got our medals at the ceremony right after. In 2018, we got medals at about an hour after the event. We went to the ceremony, and we kept the medals from then on. So I actually flew home from Korea with my medals, and that was really awesome. Pretty much wore it, I think, a week straight, nonstop. And the ring is really cool. It's right behind me on the counter over here. I actually just got it back from getting fixed. A diamond fell out of it, and I had them reset the stick me, and they polished it up. And I'm waiting currently on my new one to be delivered in the mail. Hopefully in the next few days. Everyone gets theirs. So.
How is that feeling, like getting to put that ring on your finger for the first time?
It's really, really cool. Like I said, I'm waiting for the other one to get here in the mail so I can put 2 of them on, because that in itself is like, that is almost better than the medals too, because it's like, Sean White, I think, has 4 or 5. So it's like I'm not too far behind him. I got another one in me, at least, Italy. So that's 3.
What are some of your favorite memories so far in the Paralympic snowboarding?
Man, that's a really good question. Probably all of them. It's really cool getting to travel the world and do what you love. Like I said, when you're a kid, you think of all this stuff and think of how cool it would be. And it does come with its trials and tribulations, and not every moment is up, but it is really cool. I feel like a lot down and the tough moments make up for, when you get those good moments, it's like it really makes up for everything. You're not only getting to see the world, but you're getting to see the world with like people you're kind of becoming a family with, like, all these people like Brenna and different people I've spent my entire life with them. I've seen their kids grow up. We've spent 6 months out of 12 months to share in a room on the road. And, my buddy Evan and me are like best friends. We skateboard together, and skateboard world, we snowboard together, we room together. He's got two daughters, and when I met him, he didn't have any kids. He just had a beautiful wife. So it's been a journey with these people, and it's really been awesome and special.
Who are some of the players that you look up to in the snowboarding community?
All of them, all of us, every one of us in the adaptive snowboard community to the snowboard community that's Olympic and able-bodied, and to the pro and non-pros, to everybody who's a part of it. I look up to everyone, because without everybody, we wouldn't have a future in snowboard or skiing. And realistically, if you don't have the future of what you have, it's only going to be around for you have it.
Who are some of the notable people in your career that have shaped you to the snowboarder that you are?
I would say my coach, Dan. My coaches, Daniel Gale, Chris Clark, my teammate, Evan. The list is pretty long. A lot of people have shaped me. My mom, my grandma, everybody along the way has helped shape me into becoming the person that I am, and has helped along this journey too. Is really, I do a lot of the athletics by myself, but I wouldn't be anywhere without those people.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of snowboarding?
To take it as far as I can while I'm able to be a snowboarder. I'd like to push the adaptive freestyle world as much as I can. I'd like to bring the adaptive skateboarding hopefully into the Paralympics. We've got a movement for adaptive skate that we've been doing for a few years now, that we're trying to get involved into the Paralympics, hopefully by LA. So I'd love to do all that, and I'd love to just continue to just be a pretty dominant, I hope, dominant athlete in Paralympic snowboarding as an upper limb athlete, and just kind of continue to be a snowboarder and give back to snowboarding the best that I can, because snowboarding has given me, the life that I have.
What are some of your future plans in this upcoming Paralympic Games?
To get back into shape and to kick some butt. I want to take some medals. The fire got lit when I got my butt kicked in China. It kind of woke me up, and it made me hungry again to get back on top and to get back in that saddle.
What advice would you give future people that are looking to get started in the sport of snowboarding?
Just get involved. Just get involved in any way you can. Start with lessons, and it's not going to be easy, but nothing in life is ever easy, no matter, whether that's sports or the venture you're trying to take on in life. But the longer you sit around and delay it, the longer you never know if you're actually going to like it or not.
What advice would you give those athletes that are able-bodied that are going into the Paralympic snowboarding level?
The able-bodied snowboarders would have to go into normal competition. Do you mean the Paralympic snowboarders who are...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, no problem. The Paralympic snowboarders who are looking to get into competition, the best thing I can tell you is to get involved at any low levels that you can within, as far as Rocky Mountain Series in the USA. There's a lot of disabled sections to be post, and you can get involved that way. Reach out to any local chapters, like we have Adaptive Action Sports in Colorado. Anything you can find locally that has a outlet for youth, or not even youth, just people with disabilities to get into sports. Look for any of them that have action sports or type of specifics to them, and just get involved and try to meet people and talk to as many people, like anyone like me that's involved in the Paralympics. They can point you in the right direction. They can get you talking to coaches or anyone who can give you more information. So that just be outspoken, be a squeaky wheel, and just sponge up all the information that you can, because if you don't, and you're just going to miss out on stuff.
What advice would you give those professional para snowboarders looking to make it to the Paralympic level?
Just keep pushing. The level of this is now getting really cutthroat. It's getting to the point where we're cutting people at race days. We used to, everyone that showed up make the races, and now we're doing top 16. So we might have 30 something guys show up, and we might have 15 get cut. So the level is getting really intense, and we're just, the competitiveness is getting high. Stay with it. It's tough. It's frustrating, but that's what makes success even better.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to make the Paralympic team for the first time, or even multiple times like you have?
Just again, stick with it. This road is gonna constantly throw things at you. It's never just gonna be easy. It's easy to make plans. I've got a goal, and this is what's gonna happen if I do this, this, and this. But life isn't that simple. So you just gotta stick with it. Even time to time, I consider just quitting, or how I can't even tell you how many times close to calling it quits. So really just sticking it out, when everything seems like it's all gonna just, be too much, or when other people you think would just throw in the towel and quit. It's about going that extra mile. And I think that's really what separates these professional athletes from the rest, is really that drive to just go extra.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
My social media tag is Gnarly Nubby. It's GNARLYNUBBY. And you can find me also by typing in Mike Miner as well. That's on Instagram. And I have an athlete page, Mike Miner, on Facebook as well. I unfortunately am not on Twitter. I kind of am limited on my social. It tends to just get to be overwhelming, and I'm not the biggest social poster, so I'm just a true athlete, man. At the end of the day, I enjoy being a snowboarder and a skateboarder, because that's what started it all for me. And I just it gets to be too much. So
Thank you again, Mike Miner, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a Paralympic snowboarder.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Mike Miner, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.